Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the Star of Golden Spirit. It's another one of the auxiliary stars in the Batsa system. And there are 3 day or hour pillars that may have the Star of Golden Spirit or Gold Spirit. This doesn't guarantee you'll have it because there are other requirements, but this is the first step that you must have to be able to have this formation. So we are looking for pillars. That is, you must have like yin wood at the top and ox at the bottom. That's the only one with yin wood that counts. For yin earth, you must have a snake. And for yin water, you must have the rooster. And you can't have any kind of mixing. So, but it can be either the day pillar or the hour pillar, but they can't mix. So for example, a wood snake doesn't count. Neither does a water snake. Only the earth snake, and only the wood ox, and only the water rooster. So no mixing. But it doesn't matter if it appears in the day or the hour. Either one can work. Now, if you have one of these pillars, the interpretation on whether or not it works still depends on the interaction with the remaining part of your chart. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but let's talk first about what this does for you. If all of the requirements are met, and there's only like 2 or 3, it's not terrible, but this gives the ability for the individual to become quite wealthy and quite prestigious within their community. It could be a community of scientists, it could be a community of local businessmen, or it could be broader. It could be for the whole country. So this is a very good thing to have if it meets all the requirements. If you don't meet all the requirements, then it doesn't really function like it's supposed to or like it could, but timing can help. So these individuals tend to have quite a resolute personality. They're tough on themselves. They're tough on other people. They fight very hard. They don't give up easy. They're also unyielding, which of course basically means stubborn. And they react quickly, which means they're very decisive. Now, anybody that has these 3 qualities oftentimes can make it bigger than someone who doesn't. And that's simply because they don't give up. They keep working at it until they get it, or die trying, I guess. So this usually is what makes people, at least locally, quite well known. Now, on the negative side, the stubbornness can be a problem, and not admitting when they're wrong, can also be a problem. And because they make very quick decisions, they really don't like being wrong because then they have to rethink everything, and they're not a kind of a person to look back a lot. So they're always more forward looking. So but not everybody who has this will be this way. When things are going bad for them, they can become this way. Or if they had, if they had a really poor childhood, this could be what results. So, if they had a lot of trauma and stuff in their past, this could make a difference. Now, it is also said that when we come about timing, even if you don't have what I'm going to talk about in just a second, that makes the full requirements, the luck pillars of fire, either yin or yang fire, and the snake and the horse tend to be quite positive decades. Now, the snake and the horse, their main chi is fire, so this is why they're included. These decades, they tend to have a pretty easy time in gaining wealth and prestige. And this helps. So even if you only have the one of those 3 pillars in your day or your hour, these are the luck pillars you really want to concentrate on and really give a lot of effort. But of course, there is some decades that aren't as good. And the luck pillars of metal, either yin or yang metal, and that also will include the monkey and the rooster because their main chi is also metal. And water luck pillars, that is yin or yang water, and also the pig and the rat because their main chi is water. Those are usually poorer quality decades. They're not necessarily disastrous, but they do make it much harder to gain, and especially if you don't have what you need in the rest of your chart to keep that formation activated. So there is a bit of an exception to this. If you have a little bit, just very little bit of water in your chart, like it's really tiny. It's a tiny little sliver if you're doing it by uh, how much, like on the Batsa.com website, or if you're doing it with Joey Yap, it's in the low level that is below 30%. Then these luck pillars are not such a big problem. The water tends to help because you lack water, and water is basically flexibility. So, I mean, this a little bit of flexibility tends to help people who are quite stubborn and resolute. They need a little bit of flexibility so that they can admit when they're wrong and move on. Otherwise, they can waste a whole bunch of time trying to prove they're right when they actually know they're not. So water isn't necessarily bad. As long as you don't have very much, it can be helpful. And that's good because then you don't have to worry so much about these decades. Now, the best combination, and now we're getting back to what else is in your chart that fully activates this formation. The best combination is to have at least one of the 3 harmony fire combo branches in the remaining, in your month pillar. So either the tiger, the horse, or the dog. Doesn't matter which one. The horse is a little better, which you'll see in a second, but any one of these will basically activate the Star of Gold Spirit. And this is why you want it. Now, also during those luck pillars, the tiger, the horse, and the dog luck pillars, this can also benefit you to activate the formation. So that's kind of in addition to the snake and the 2 fire, the yin and yang fire luck pillars. And sometimes they come together, which is fine. Now, when the combination occurs, when you have this fire in what's one of these branches, so that means that let's say you have the tiger. That is during a horse year and a dog month, or a horse month and a dog day. This is fully activated. It's you've got a supercharged. But even if you only don't have that, even just the tiger itself energizes it, and it is activated and helps. But when the combination occurs, any one of these with one of those 3 day or hour pillars, actually I should say day pillars, then there'll be a financial abundance and prestige. You'll have abundance of prestige also. But if there happens to be a snake or a horse somewhere else in the chart, it is amplified. And that can also include, of course, luck pillars. And what this means is a person, let's say, who has the earth snake in their day and a horse in their month, they will have more wealth and prestige than someone who has a wood ox in their day and a tiger in their month. They both meet the qualifications for activating the Star of Gold Spirit, but the snake and the horse are stronger. And that's, of course, because they have fire in there as their main chi. But, whether you're going to be a big fish pretty much no matter where you are, just it depends on the size of the pond. So this is still a good thing, even if you have the ox and the tiger, or even if you have the water rooster and the tiger, that's still good. Now, there is some differentiation between when it's your day pillar and when it's your hour pillar. If it's in the hour pillar, then you have to have you have to have other conditions. So you must either have a day master of Ja, that's Yang wood, or Ji, which is Yin earth, or you have a horse or a snake as your month branch. Now, of course, these are the two that have fire as their main chi, and this is why they activate it. This will activate it. Both are better than just one, but one is enough. And if you want to read more about it, I have a website listed here. I'm going to try to put it in my description below, but it does weed out people who are too lazy. By the way, this is an underscore. It's not a blank, it's an underscore. It just never shows up whenever it creates a link. Of course, you can't click on the link in a video because it's only an image. Now, just as with the day pillar, waiting for the horse and snake luck pillars to arrive, that can also create the formation. The horse and snake years also activate it, but the gains are smaller because they're a shorter time. It's really hard to become wealthy in 2 years. And to gain a lot of prestige, you can gain prestige, but once these 2 years are up, then you don't gain any more, and that automatically basically makes you lose very slowly prestige. So, but it's still you get some gains, and it's very helpful. I would say use them even if they're only years. Now, the remaining part of 2025 is the snake year. So if you have one of those three pillars that I talked about right at the beginning, uh, you you have about 5 months now to really work hard, and all of next year, because these are the snake and horse years, and they will always come together. Snake and horse always come, 1 year after the other. So you'll have 2 years that you have energy to work with. And but they don't come too often. They come once every 12 years. So it's it takes a while. Now, it is not ideal to have a lot of water in your chart if one of the gold spirit stars exist. And the reason is, and this is a quote from several websites, metal sinks in water. And so it hides itself, basically. You don't see it. And so that part is just not activated. So it basically deactivates it. And of course, water controls fire, which is another reason why it can deactivate it, because fire is the activator of this formation. Now, having a water heaven stem is quite negative. It really weakens the energy of it. It doesn't destroy it completely, but it's you definitely will you'll be able to see the difference in two people, one with a water heaven stem and one without it. And any of the three harmony, especially if you have at least two of the three harmony, of course, if you have all three, uh, now you're not going to be able to have all three and have an activated formation because these don't activate anything. But the three harmony water combination is these three. But even if you only have two, you've got half a combo, and that is significant. And then when the other one comes through with time, it's a full combo, and that is also quite bad. If you have both, I would say you have an extraordinarily hard time activating the Star of Gold spirit, unless everything else in your chart is fire. Now, some state, and I can't say this is true for all, but most either don't talk about this, but the ones who do talk about a season to be born in, they say if you're born in the summer, that is the snake, the goat, or the horse months, then a little bit of water is advantageous. but it still has to be not a whole lot. And it's a little hard to say exactly how much that is. This is yet another reason why I don't do batsa as a, I don't do people's batsa in my business because I'm not good enough yet. And I doubt I ever will be. So it just, it's not interesting enough, and I also don't have enough time. So, but there are plenty of other practitioners out there. You probably can find one, especially if you know you have this. You don't have to tell them that, but if they miss it, they're not very good. Now, it is also said that if you have the yang blade, which is also called the goat blade, in your chart, it neutralizes this gold spirit formation. But it doesn't necessarily create additional bad luck, unlike too much water does. So uh, it just, I think that if you had the yang blade, you still have luck coming in your luck pillars, through the fire luck pillars, but you don't have it continuously then, which is a real bummer. Now I have a video that discusses the Yang blade. It's already up. It's public, so you can watch it there. Now some also state that the star of golden spirit can only appear in the hour pillar, and it doesn't count if it appears in the day pillar. This is a minority of the sites, and I'm talking about the Chinese language websites. One such site is given here, where they say that is true. And they say the reason why they believe this is because it comes from ancient text. And if you can read Chinese, it's probably worth reading. But they also say that even in the text that they list, there are inconsistencies in the text. Of course, they're written by different people at different times. That's not unusual at all. And it seems as though over time they realize that it can also appear in the day. So, that is, the pillar is valid if it's in the day. And so it's just something to look at. But I would say if you can read Chinese, this is something you can do, and you can judge for yourself, because I don't have a judgment on this. Now, most websites, the vast majority, say that the star of gold spirit can have any of those three pillars in either the day or the hour. And this is why I included both in this video, because I think over time they realize it's right. Now, I don't know anybody who has this formation, but if you do, or you know somebody who does and you know them quite well, does this resonate with you or with them? I mean, do they think this is actually working for them? I mean, as usual, I should put this at the end of every single video that has to do with Batsa. I want to know if this makes sense for people who actually have the formation, since I have very, very few of the formations that are out there. So that's it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I hope this is helpful. I hope somebody out there actually has this formation, and they can know now what to do with it and how they should try to move forward. And of course, like I said, a lot of trauma in the past can make it very hard to activate any of the good formations. But if you know you have it in you, you have a road path towards the future. And that's what I'm hoping these videos can help people with. So thanks again for watching.